so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another episode 2 of The Black Path. We got a special guest.
The Path to Black, motherfucker.
The Path to Black. I don't even know our own shit. That's how bad it is.
Just think.
I haven't even drank yet. Anyways, you know who it is, your boy John.
White Belt Slayer.
Leo.
Yep.
Professor. Far from it.
Mr. Professor Rice and Beans.
Yeah, Mr. Rice and Beans himself. Leo.
Oh boy, thank you.
I know we've talked about him a lot on the podcast, so it's nice to finally get you on here. I know everyone's going to enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, I like the beer, by the way, guys. The three of us are good with the beer, don't it?
Can you rip into this for me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Idea.
It's crazy.
See it? Crazy. Black Belt bottle opening.
Cheers.
Cheers. For you guys watching, cheers.
Heineken Zero.
Watching.
Good stuff.
Anyways.
Starting off with Heineken Zero. John's drinking, what is that thing called? Latitude
Blood
33.
Orange, yeah.
Shout out to Kyle for the beers. Kelsey, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
For putting into the podcast.
Yep. Giving back.
Giving back. Anyways.
Let's get it ripping the correct way. How much you weigh today, John? Oh!
Look,
I saw you eat like 8 pieces of pizza last night.
Someone makes good pizza from scratch.
This dude serves meat, serves pizza, deserves it all.
Dude.
Serves ass whoopings.
Yeah, serves ass.
And a lot of rice and beans, too,
And a lot
right?
of rice and beans, yeah. And, I don't know. I didn't weigh. Last I weighed myself.
Bullshit! I know you weighed yourself.
I didn't weigh myself.
You looked ashamed just now when I said
because
that.
I know after yesterday, it was probably not good. It's probably not good. But
I saw you take at least one slice of every pizza that came out.
no.
Yeah, pretty good too, man. You had
I had like 6 or 7 of them. I really like the one with all the
I'm
stuff
not saying
on
I
it.
didn't
you had that sweet pizza too, but
That was really good.
You'd like
I liked
it,
it
yeah?
with the cheese on it.
Awesome, yeah.
I had the first one. I don't think it had cheese on the first one, and
No.
the second one had cheese, and I was like,
It was
"Is it cheese on this?"
cheese,
You ate
Nutella,
the
and
cheesecake too, right?
yeah, I made cheesecake
Oh,
from
that
scratch.
cheese-
Yeah.
The cheesecake was
Fire.
bomb.
Oh, you
Yeah,
have cheesecake?
Yeah.
that was good.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys
How
like
do
it.
you how do you get it not too sugary?
I just Google it and do it.
Really?
Yeah, I just
Damn.
whatever first receipt comes over
Whatever it
there,
is, that's
just
what
follow
it
it,
is.
just
Yeah,
follow
whatever
it.
works.
It was good.
Yeah,
you said
man.
the crust made out of graham crackers?
No, we bought it at market, so yeah.
It's fucking good. That was really good.
Yeah.
But
Did you make the
anyway.
sauce?
Yeah, the sauce. Amazing.
Outside of being an amazing cook,
Woo-hoo.
making some amazing steak. His Brazilian steak.
It's obviously
It's
a good
so
steak,
good.
man.
It's so
We
good.
can throw this.
No, just see right here.
Right.
You're good. Anyways, yeah, like you said, he's a professor at our gym. He's 3rd degree, right?
Third degree black belt. Yeah, going 10 years into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess to start off, when did you start?
Man, that's been many moves ago. Actually, what happened?
Well, let's start it off right.
Go ahead.
Before we get in, sorry.
Go ahead.
If you notice, he has a funny accent.
I do.
Because you're actually Brazilian.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was born up the hill in
Yeah.
Loma Linda, but I grew up in Brazil. So
Yeah.
I am most of my life in Brazil. Been there for the time I was 2 until I was 14. Then I moved to Boston. We parked the car, you know.
Yeah, park the
We
car.
parked the car. And then and then after 28 years in Boston, I moved to Florida. Yeah, Florida for 10 years.
Then you moved here.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
Past
And then
5 years been here.
I think you told me before that when you were a kid, you started jiu-jitsu a little bit with your brother, right?
Well, what happens, back in the day, I did Kung Fu, believe it or not. I was to get into Kung
Were you
Fu.
washing
I
the
wanted
pants
to
and
be
shit?
Bruce Lee, yeah, man, you know. And then, back, you know, my brother was doing judo, so he showed me a little bit of judo and stuff like that. And how I got into jiu-jitsu, it's, you know, it wasn't big back then. This is like, you know, late 80s and all that. It wasn't that big, but my friends were doing it, and I knew a little bit of judo, so we just play around a little bit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
What,
So,
what city in Brazil did you live in?
Vitória.
Is that a major city?
Yeah, it's like 6 hours away from Rio. Yeah.
So you said you moved
Southeast.
you moved when you were 14 back to the United
Yeah.
States. So what year was that when you moved back?
Oh man, this is 90. Oh, I went. Well, I was born in 74, 76. I moved to Brazil, and then I came back in 89.
So in the mid 80s, when you were kind of old enough to start doing jiu-jitsu, was jiu-jitsu popping in
Well, not
Brazil?
no. Well, it's big in Rio.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because that's the Mecca. It was very big
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there. And back in the day, I don't know, you know, how it started, it's like only the rich people could do it. You know what I mean?
That's what I
because
heard, yeah.
So you know, they only could do it. But this is like 60s and 70s. But then you know, a lot of black belts came around, and then they went to other cities and all that, and they open gyms and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, so like spread.
Yeah,
basically from
exactly,
there.
yeah.
So did you start jiu-jitsu with your friends in Brazil?
Well, no, just so what happens, My dad always liked us to do sports, like play soccer, judo, karate, or something like that. He wanted us to whoop ass,
Yeah, of course.
So what happens, back in the 80s, there was this big famous guy. His name was King Zulu.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, so Hey Zulu, King Zulu. So he's from the northern part of Brazil, I think Bahia, Recife, I don't know. But he used to go in each state of Brazil, and he was challenging the best fighters. All right. So
I heard that story.
yeah. So he fought Rickson twice. Rickson was 18 years old, and he fought him twice and beat him twice.
And one
He's
of
in
those
that
stories,
book.
but
Yeah,
in one of those
yeah.
stories, didn't he like blind Rickson and Rickson still fought him? Like he like eye gouged him or
I
something
think
like
I think it was illegal moves there. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know the
Yeah.
precise of it.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so he went to all the cities to, and I was doing kung fu back then. So he went to my city, and he challenged the best judo guy. Yeah, my town capoeira guy. And nobody's like, I don't know, fight this guy. And back then they used to fight in the ring. Is like yeah, but it was just like
This is like
it wasn't-
Vale Tudo.
exactly. That's what we used to
Yeah.
call Vale Tudo. Yeah. So with speedos, bare hand, bare knuckles, and everything.
Wait. Was the Speedo an actual uniform? That was like the
No.
Valley Tudo uniform?
Well, I was from the beach, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That wasn't there. No. Shorts, but when they used to fight.
Because Rickson wore the Speedo.
Yeah.
The white
Yeah.
Speedo.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I wouldn't wear
How
that.
many Speedos do you have?
None, man.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
got
I know.
No, man.
You see it in his eyes.
No, Speedos from me, brother. No way. No. Oh, no.
Right, so
the
he
King
was,
Zulu
yeah.
came to your town.
So he came to my town and he challenged all the best fighters. There was a capoeira guy and a judo guy as well. So what happens? My teacher, my sensei, he's like, I'll take the fight. So my brother took us. His teacher's gonna fight him. So let's go see him fight. So Zulu was a big guy, he's 6 feet plus tall, man, and big black dude, big arms and all that. He was, I think he was on his early 40s at the time. He was of age already. But anyhow, so he went, and my dad took me, my brother, my sister wasn't born yet, me, my brother, my mom, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother to watch the fight.
Wow,
Yeah,
whole family.
yeah, that was a family thing. So he went in, and, he was like, he did his thing and all that, and he ended up beating up my teacher. Senseless, man. Yeah. And I was like, this kung fu thing doesn't work. So I wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
And, my brother was doing judo, so he showed me some judo throws, and then a little bit of karate and this and that. And then, 14, 15, I came back to the U.S. So I was living in Boston at the time. And then, most like everybody, he started doing jiu-jitsu. Who's the first guy that you see fighting back in UFC? UFC 1. Hoist, right?
Yeah.
So I used to have one of those illegal boxes that you catch the pay-per-view back in the day.
Yeah,
it was an analog, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Signal and all that. So I bought one of those, and my friends used to come by and watch the fights. And we're gonna watch this thing. It's from Brazil, Leo. So they fight to the death, I was like, well, what is that? They say, oh, it's some Vale Tudo stuff. I was like, go ahead.
So you watched UFC 1 live?
Yes, on pay-per-view.
That's crazy.
I think one.
You were
Yeah,
like 18, 17?
I think so, man. I don't remember. I'm not very good at that right now, but I think. You see, if it was a
92,
one or
right?
two, it was the first 2 ones, 92.
Okay,
Yeah, it was either 1 or 2 or 3. I don't know, but
One of the original ones.
Yeah. So and they used to they used to fight 2 or 3 times in the same night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like tournaments
Yeah.
now still. Yeah.
So all my friends are there. Some of them, Portuguese, and some of them, most of them Americans. So and like, oh, that's from Brazil. So I guess you know what it is. And I was like, oh, the Gracies. I know what the Gracies are. My dad always spoke to them about, spoke about them to me. So let's go watch it.
Yeah.
So and then I was like, could you just? I know how to do that stuff, man. And then do nothing, man. And then I was like, yeah. And then when you start playing and watch that, and then I fell in love with it. I was like, well, I have to look up for a place for me to do jiu-jitsu. So do you guys know who Keith Florian is? Kenny Florian?
Yeah,
Keith
yeah,
Florian?
yeah.
So they were blue belts at the time, and then his teacher, I used to live in New Bedford, which is like near Cape Cod, and the only legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school was Roberto Maia, Kenny Florian, Keith Florian. They were in Boston, and they were charging a lot of money back then for
What were they charging you?
Yeah, man, I don't remember. But I think it was like close to $100 or something like that.
But back then,
Yeah, yeah,
way
yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in college. I was broke anyways. I
Yeah.
couldn't afford. So and then I was like, there was no internet back then, to look up for moves and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah. So then there's this guy. His mom, he opened up. She was from Japan. She was a black belt in judo. And he was a wrestler. So he combined both, the wrestling and the judo. And
Yeah,
so people that I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he wasn't a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. But God rest his soul, his name was Don, and he opened up the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school back on the South Coast, like where he used to live. It used to call JBA. And from that school, do you guys know who Joe Lozano is, right?
Yeah.
So he started training with one of his
really?
students. Yeah, Joe Pomfret was a student of Don Beneville from JBA, and then they opened up a place in Bridgewater. And Joe Lozano is just a little kid, man. I remember him like this. Him and his brother used to walk in the gym and.
Would they go at it back then?
Yeah, they used to go at it like crazy.
Have you seen the videos of them going at it in the
Yeah,
front yard?
yeah, man, yeah. Oh, they're of age. They're like,
Yeah.
So, and then, they took off and all that, and I was training in the gym. And from the gym, Matt Santos came up. Now he's in Rhode Island. He's one of the oldest jiu-jitsu instructors in Rhode Island, Providence. Mm-hmm. And then he came from there too. Lozano brothers, they kind of branch out of it too. With Joe Pomfret. Who else? Oh, a whole bunch of other guys.
So this was like the early 90s.
Yeah.
So how long
like
did
your
you train
20s?
there?
I've been training, I actually started training for good, like in 97, 98.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still
Like,
super early.
Yeah. That's when I think it was 97, 98. 98 give and take, So, and that's the time that I paid membership and I kept on training.
That's when you officially
Yeah,
started. But
yeah.
before that, you were
Yeah.
kind of playing around
Yeah.
with it, wrestling.
Yeah,
judo.
I participated in the first Naga
really?
1, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it used to be, I used to compete up, I was purple belt, but then I never competed anymore. But anyhow, I competed in the first Naga event. And
As a purple belt?
No, I was a white belt, bro.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow,
one
you've
strike.
been around for that long?
Yeah, man.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Naga's
Wow.
been Kip Collar, I think is
Yeah, I read
Mr.
about it.
Clean.
You were telling me
Mr.
about it,
Clean,
yeah.
yeah, Mr. Clean. I call him Mr. Clean, yeah. So he looks like him. But yeah, he opened up the event and everybody was going. Used to be that one, then Grappler's Quest.
Grappler's Quest is that
yeah.
old?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
So, and then there was another one that I don't remember the name right now. But Naga was the first one. But it was crazy because the first Naga event used to be no gi with gi. So you could have a black belt with judo go in the white belt with jiu-jitsu, gi and no gi.
So someone could be in the gi, someone be. So it's
Yeah,
like
it was a
UFC,
mess.
like
It
you
was
can
a
do
mess.
whatever
It
you
was a
want.
mess.
That's crazy.
The rules, they're like, just don't hurt yourself. Don't get hurt, But they could body slam. White belts are doing heel hooks, wrist locks.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It's a
bro.
wrist lock right
Yeah,
here.
wrist locks too. Everything.
So when you trained in the Boston area for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and then you moved to Florida. What belts were when you moved to Florida?
All right, so belts. Hey, you know the story. I went with this guy, Don Beneville, right? I went with him.
You don't have to tell the truth. We can omit some of it.
No, it's okay. So it's well known. So I went with Don up to his purple belt,
Okay.
right? And then Tim Burrow opened up a school. Tim Burrow was one of the first Carlos Machado's black belt. He opened up.
Carlos Machado black belt?
Yeah,
On
one
the
of
East
first.
Coast?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Tim Burrow. So he opened up a place, a gym in Providence, Rhode Island. So when I used to live near Providence, like just across the state, So across the bridge, I was in Rhode Island. So I started training him as a purple belt. So I was doing pretty good with his.
Keep going.
I was doing pretty good with his purple belts and blue belts as a purple belt, but it was just the way he was teaching, the way he was really teaching jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean,
Right.
the real way, you know what I mean. It was all traditional, all that. So but he was telling me, the point system and everything like that, you know what I mean.
Wait, was IBJJF around then?
I don't think so, man. Was it?
So the jiu-jitsu points system existed before IBJJF?
I think it did because
The Brazilian Nationals, wasn't it?
yeah,
Something
the
like
Brazilian,
that?
yeah.
That was
That's
the
what-
90s. That was late 90s. I guess it was around
That's
that
what
time.
he's saying,
Yeah,
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Sabrina competed back in she's a black belt too. My wife is a black belt too, so you guys.
We're going to get on here before she leaves.
Yep.
So yeah, I think she competed back in the 90s, and the rules are already there.
Yeah,
Of the person,
established,
yeah. I think it's been around forever, man. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been around forever.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so then I started training with Tim as a purple belt, and I was like, man, there's something missing. And then what I did, I demoted myself. I went
you
back to
switch
blue.
schools?
Yeah, I switched school, and I demoted myself. I was like, I never care about belts, right? So then I went back myself. I demoted myself to blue, and I started training him. I trained him for 5 years, and then he gave me each year he gave me a stripe on my blue belt because back then, promotions were very slow. Yeah, very slow. So because we didn't have enough, like there was no videos back then.
Yeah,
So
it's
if
hard.
you want to buy the videos, you have to go the magazine, the Black Belt magazine, and look up the videos. There's the Penta videos.
DVDs,
Yeah, Penta videos. Yeah.
Did you ever buy one of those?
Yeah, I did, man. I have a collection, man.
So, but back then, Black Belt magazine, that was like all kinds of stuff. It wasn't just
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu,
no,
right? It was like
kung fu,
karate and
karate.
shit,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, but then the only ones that they have about jiu-jitsu was the Gracie mag that was selling in Brazil. And every time I went to Brazil, I used to buy the magazines. But what I did, I used to go to the place where they sell newspapers and stuff, and I used to ask the guy, "Hey, always save them for me, okay?" Because they always keep changing. So I used to go to Brazil twice a year, and I used to buy the old edition. So yeah, that's pretty good. So, but then I demoted myself. Then I went to Timbro. I got up to 4 stripes on my blue belt. Then I changed the school. I started training with Steven Whittier. He's a straight blast gym international.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
That's got to be one of the original straight blast gyms.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called Nexus Martial Arts.
Everyone knows about straight blast because that's where Conor McGregor's from. But he's from one in Ireland.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
straight blast is not from Ireland. It's from the United States. Yeah.
So I went, whoops, sorry guys.
That's all right. Just let it rip.
No, what did I do? I made a mistake.
There you go.
Sorry.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
That's all right. What did I do? Just suck it up?
Just keep- It's going to be that kind of party. I would have worn different
We should have brought more drinks.
And this is zero, man.
I know.
I'm feeling it.
I'm ready for
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry,
Get
guys.
you a wrap. 1 second.
Yeah. So, fuck John. So, you got your 4th stripe, and then you moved over to straight blast. So
Yeah.
where was that at?
That was in Wareham. Wareham.
So still in Boston.
Yeah.
area.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Near Cape Cod. Yeah.
And this whole time you were training, you were in college and you had a job, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do now. But were you
Yeah.
more serious about it, or were you like dedicated to jiu-jitsu, or?
I was trying to back then. I was training every day. I was younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm making time between schoolwork.
Yeah.
You know. And then I graduated. I worked for State Street Bank in Boston, and I was able to go to Rhode Island to train almost every day with the Timbro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get your purple belt when you went to straight blast? Or?
So I did. I started training with Steven Whittier. My first month that I was there, he gave me a purple belt. So yeah, I think I was his first purple belt, man.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, he has tons of black belts now,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
remembers I was his first purple belt. So, but anyhow, then I went with him and I started training and this and that. Then I moved to Florida in 2007, right? And then Florida, when I was living at the time, there was no school. So, but there was one in Daytona with Rich Crooklington. He fought the UFC, the early ones too. So I started training with him, and then I was a purple belt, and I was training with him. So he gave me 4 stripes on my purple belt. I was like, man, I trained him for years. Man, this is fast. And one day he gave me 4 stripes. I was like, God, thank you very much. Boom. And then I trained with him for I think less than a year or so. And then I started training with the guy that gave me a black belt, Luis Palhares. He's out, like I was telling him.
Yeah.
He got his brown belt, from white to brown, on the Hall's Grace. When Hall's died, I started training Rickson Gracie. He got his black belt from Rickson Gracie.
Oh, I
Yeah.
must have missed that before. So the professor that gave you your black belt was his black belt from Rickson.
Yeah, he got his black belt straight from Rickson, from white. I think it's from white to brown.
Holz.
Who holds? Then he died in a hang gliding accident, and then he.
Stripes from.
You know,
Yeah.
I never can. Well, before we get to black belt, I never considered this, even though everyone knows it's a black belt, so we know where the story is going. But if you look at your lineage chart, it goes Rickson Gracie,
Yeah,
your
man,
professor,
if
and
you
then
look-
you.
Yeah, if you look that way, yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I never thought of that.
There's not a lot of people that have Rickson in their lineage.
Yeah.
In the U.S., I think there's 8 or 12.
No, really.
That's it. He's
should be
only
more,
given
man.
I think he's only given 12 black belts. In the
Really,
US.
really.
That's crazy.
Because he never had a school long enough to be open to promote people to black. So there's like this real reverence amongst Rickson black belts, like Henry Aiken.
Yeah.
I mean he's more prominent as a black belt because he ran Rickson's school for a while. So there's probably a lot of people under that lineage, but no one directly from Rickson.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's 12.
There's actually there's a guy that used to live in New Smyrna Beach. His name is Brendan Hessler. He's a black belt under Rickson Gracie.
Really?
Yeah, but he's a U.S. Marine drill sergeant. And then he retired. And he started. He was a very traditional guy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't teach. He has he has a big property, and he gets people from to live with him, and he trains them like in jiu-jitsu, karate,
That's
and
badass.
everything. Yeah.
It's out of his house.
Yeah. He's very traditional, man.
Yeah.
Amazing. His jiu-jitsu is amazing too, man. Yeah.
So tell me your professor's name again.
Luis Palhares.
So when you went to him, you were a brown belt or a 4-stripe
Well,
purple
I
belt?
was like I was telling you, I was a 4-stripe purple belt,
Yep.
and then I started training Luis, right? So then it's like, again, the way that was true Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Came right from the source.
He's Brazilian.
Yeah.
He's
Yes,
Brazilian.
yes. And he taught me all the self-defense, all the curriculum for the self-defense, all the sport jiu-jitsu and old school jiu-jitsu, all the pressure and the rights and beans, and everything. So anyhow, I was training him with 4 stripes, and I was training him one day, and I was like, I took my stripes. And I was like, why'd you do that? I was like, well, I want to get a real belt from you, right? So, and then the same day. It's funny story. So I took my stripes off, right? On my purple belt, I had white pants and blue top, right? So I took it and I tell you I'm gonna start. And then he says, Leo, next time you can buy, just either blue or white. I was like, man, I went home and I was devastated, right? I was like, man, I've been doing jiu-jitsu this whole life, and now he's telling me to.
Match?
No. I thought he was telling about belt.
Oh.
Either white or blue.
Yeah.
So he says, you're gonna use either white or blue. But he didn't say the belt.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. He didn't say the uniform. Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought he meant the belt.
demoted you.
So they demoted me to white or blue, and then I went home and I called Steven Weeder. It was my friend. I was like, man, he wants me to wear either white or blue. Am I that bad? I was like, no, don't worry. These old school guys are like that. He's gonna promote you very fast. Just do what he says. I was devastated. So, and then I went back the next day to train Luis, and I was like, so Master, listen, what do you want me to do, man? Can I at least have my blue belt instead from white again? I wasn't telling him about belts, you dumb fuck. You know what I mean? I was telling him about the gi,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thank you. So, yeah, man.
So then how long did it take for you to go to purple and from purple to brown under him?
Like 5-6 years. Yeah.
Well, and then what did it take to go from brown to black with him?
Brown to black, I think, 2 years.
So you trained with him for about 7
Yes,
years?
yeah.
And you'd already been training for over 7 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
So once you got solid, how long did it take you to go from white to black?
Oh, from white to black, I think 15, 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that more common back then?
Yeah. Even Sabrina got her black belt like that too. Like it took her ages to get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It seems like nowadays more people are getting like seven to 8 years.
Exactly, because there's more tournaments nowadays. There's more, more prove yourself. You know what I mean? There's more instructions out there. It can go always, even though it's not, advisable to do, but there's always YouTube. There's always, there's knowledge out there. You know what I mean?
And also now, jiu-jitsu is it's a business.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to.
People making money out of it.
You have to keep people,
Yeah.
Engaged.
There,
Yeah.
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So, but that's how it was, man. And
So
then,
you never competed at black belt?
No, because once I competed with Luis. I will see, man. So soon as I got my purple belt with Luis, when I started training Luis, and I was competing, as a purple belt, competing for him. He used to do the Sunshine Stay Open. That was his. And then
he was doing his own tournaments?
Yeah, he was doing his own tournament. And I used to compete. My daughters used to compete for his gym too. So I went and competed for him. And I was doing good on his tournaments, but it was just a local tournament, you know what I mean? People from Orlando, Miami used to go, but nothing big like, But anyhow, and then my last tournament, he gave me my brown belt, the brown belt. And then from there on, he's like, Leo, I want you to teach from me. So I used to travel a lot. So as a brown belt, I was teaching. Because I was always with him, you know what I mean? I know his curriculum, the way he was teaching. So he trusts me to teach, him and his son,
Yeah.
So, and then I used to teach at the JSO in Jacksonville, the Sheriff's Department. I was teaching there for him when he was traveling. When he used to do seminars, I used to teach for him too. So
Wow. You did a lot of training with like police officers?
Man, yeah, the SWAT team.
This was back in the day?
This is, yeah.
So
well, it's just the JSO, they had the SWAT team. They and a few other people over there they used to train. So he used to have a school inside the department. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was just listening to that. They were saying the guy I was listening to was saying a lot of police, like the schools, don't want to outsource anything. They want to outsource it, but they want to bring it in.
Yeah, Jocko was talking about that
'cause,
recently.
Yeah, they don't want people to see exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that makes sense.
Well, Jocko had
Henner. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. But basically, what he was saying exactly what he was saying that they would have like instructors they would train, and then they were supposed to go back and teach.
Yeah, that's what he was doing at the time. This was like 2000. Yeah. Oh man, no, these guys are monsters. They're like you guys. So the big guys too, and I'm carrying a little bit extra weight right now, but I was a little bit slimmer back then. But those guys are huge, man. Yeah. They're crazy. They're crazy. Like Luke, like Misa, that body type. You know what I mean?
Just thick.
Yes, and strong, man. Strong, thick.
Yeah. So, what year did you get your black belt?
2012.
If you want to see some savage shit, go on YouTube, Google his name.
It's still there?
Yeah, I think it must be. There's a video of him getting promoted in 2006.
I got hit in
Someone hits him right in the dick of the belt.
Oh man, it hurts me. I remember. Yeah. And I thought that was Luis' son that did that, Cesar.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was he a black belt at the time?
Yeah, he was a brown belt.
Brown belt?
He's a mean black belt around.
You said someone else got promoted with you, right?
Yeah, my friend Paulo Higon. Yeah.
Did you guys both get bars? When you got your black belts?
we got Professor Bars right there.
Because you were teaching from the time you were around. So you were already teaching for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I was teaching for a while.
Yeah.
Is it common to see brown belts with Professor Bars? Because I have seen it.
Well,
Did you have bars on your brown belt?
No.
I mean, I've seen some people have.
Paladi's never done it. He always Professor Bars as a black belt.
Yeah.
I've seen schools like giving Professor coach status. To purple belts and brown belts. But I mean, my jiu-jitsu came from Luis. You know what I mean? So I mean, I follow what he does. He never done it to purple or brown. So.
Did you get your professor stripes as soon as you got your black belt?
Yes, they
got on the belt. I noticed it before.
Is that because you were teaching already?
Yeah, I think so. He did it. Yeah, I guess so. He did it. Yeah, because I was teaching already. Yeah.
So you said that was 06?
No, that was 2012.
12.
Yeah.
So I thought you were way behind on your stripes. You're right in line on the stripes now.
Well, what happened too? And when I got my black belt, I was Luis for 3 years. Then we had a little fell apart a little bit, and I opened up my own gym and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. Where was your gym at that you opened up?
It was in Palm Coast, Florida.
And I think you told me before, your first gym was in your garage, right?
Yeah. And then it was me and a whole bunch of friends from the hospital, and doctors and nurses and PAs and all that. They used to come out here, the jiu-jitsu stuff. Like, I know a little bit. Can you show me some move? And then they started training with me.
Did you tell them, like, hey, I'll show you some shit, but it's $50?
And then I had from wrestling mats we put in my garage. But then suddenly I had like 20 people in my garage. I was like, man.
Like consistently?
Yeah. And then our friends, and then I was like, I got to get a bigger place. And then one of my friends, his name is Chris, he just got his black belt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he started with me from white. I promoted him to purple, and then once I moved here, now he kept on training. He just last year got his brown belt. Black belt. Sorry.
Were you working?
Yeah.
And running a school?
Yeah. Wow. So, but you see, the school is always for fun, Yeah. But out of my garage.
Yeah, I'm sure it's still a lot of.
Yeah. Well, it was work and a lot of drama too. So, but then I was talking to my friends like, listen, guys. We have to get out of here, man. I can't be doing this. The neighbors are complaining, So, and they're like, all right. So we came up with some money, and then we bought more mats, and then we got like a 1,000 square feet unit. Mm-hmm. It had Florida is hot as hell, humid. So I got this huge. It was a huge, 1,000 square feet, and it had a bathroom, a little office, and we got two, like big fence to blow the wind, and then we kept on going. We started 20 people. A month later, I had 50, 60, Wow. That's pretty good, man. And then people started paying a little bit. And at the end of the month, we had a little bit of money left over. We used to make a barbecue and stuff like that. Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's mostly for the love of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. And then I never, even my old gis, I used to give to the guys that, you wanted to really come and train. Yeah. I was like, here, have this. How much? No, don't worry, just train,
Yeah.
So,
how long did you have that school for?
Oh, I had it for 5 years.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I started in one place. With Palhares, then I moved near the beach. Then I got affiliated with Renato Tavares. He's a Carlson Gracie black belt. Yeah, but before that, for a few months, I was with the American Top Team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that had to been really early in their existence, right?
No, man. American Top Team was huge in Florida.
Really?
Yeah, man. This was, let's see, 2015, 16, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I guess that's pretty recent. Yeah. I don't know why I keep.
I did some less than 1 year. I went with this guy. His name was Brigadeiro. He was American top team. And then I was with him for like a few months. Then I went with Renato Tavares. And then I partnership with somebody. And we opened up a bigger school. Then I moved here, and I lost the school.
when you had that bigger school, you were still being a full-time nurse.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many classes a week were you teaching?
I was doing like boring classes. I used to do privates like early in the morning to some doctors. They used to go train with me, like at 6 o'clock, sometimes 7 o'clock. And I used to work the 7P to 7A, you know.
Yeah.
And on my day off, I used to go teach. You know, it's like,
So did you have like black belts with you, or like?
I was
brown belt or
me.
other-
Chris used to help me too. He was a purple belt. And then Trevor, one of my friends who's a black belt in judo, he used to teach a class there too. But I was there at least, you know, 3 times a night. You know, I used to work mainly on weekends, you know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so you would work like long shifts on the weekends to have the
yeah.
week clear to teach?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
that's
And
kinda cool.
I did it because of my daughters too, you know what I mean? So they wanted to do it, but then they got to teenage years, high school, they gave up jiu-jitsu and did the weightlifting stuff in school. So,
okay.
And they can always come back.
yeah. Well, they know how to handle themselves, man. You know?
Yeah.
Somebody gets fresh with them, they know what to do.
Yeah.
So you
Fox,
got-
I'm sure.
That's it.
Did you get any stripes from your original professor?
No, because the time that I was going to get my first stripe with the Pilates,
So you left?
that's when I left, yeah.
Who did you get your stripes from?
I got one from my first one for Renato Tavares, and the last 2 from Omar.
Oh, you got 2 from Omar. I didn't know that.
Because I was late, so
On the second one?
the second one, and Omar was like, "All right, I want to give it to you," and then I was due. Yeah, you know, I guess 2025. I guess I'll get my 4th one.
Isn't it 5 years?
Now isn't it 4 years? Is it 3 or 5?
I thought it was 3,
I don't know.
No, I
it's
thought only
3 for the
only
first.
the first 3.
Yeah.
I think the next one's 5.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though.
and then it jumps up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know that you have to be 27 years, right? As a black belt
As a
to get
black
your
belt.
purple belt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy.
You got some time left.
So
Man, I'm getting old, man. I'm only 50 next year, bro.
so we kind of talked about when you got to your black belt now and running your school. Now coming to California, like how did you pick Hemet? First of all,
Well,
You didn't.
No,
Okay.
no, this what happened, right? So me and Sabrina were living in Loma Linda.
Okay.
I got transferred from a hospice place that I was working in Florida. They transferred me here.
okay.
So, and then I was living the Monterey Pines over there, like in Loma Linda, near the hospital. And then I went to a few schools around the area. I didn't like the vibe. They didn't treat me very nicely, you know. And then one time I was working right here in our nursing home in Hemet, and I got a tattoo, right? It says Jiu-Jitsu. I was there, and then one of the nurses, she started looking at me, like, looked at me. I was like, "Hey, can I help you?" "Oh, you do the Jiu-Jitsu thing?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, there's a school here in Hemet." I was like, "Really, in Hemet? There's a school?" "Yeah, it's a couple. I think his name is Salum. Oh, I think it's Brazilian. His wife too, and they 2 black belts. 2 black belts. Carl was a black belt then. He's a black belt." And then, I mean, he doesn't speak much English. His wife speaks better than him. I was like, Salum, Omar Salum. And I was like, who's that? Then I told Sabrina, Omar Salum, you know who he is? I was like, no. And she told me. And I was like, wow, really? And then, you know, we came to watch the class. And one of her friends, Fred Sampachon, is good friends with Sabrina. He's good friends with Omar too. So, you know, she called him. I was like, oh, he's over there. I was like, hey, go. He's going to be, you know, he's going to take care of Leo. Go train with him. So the first day that I went to Omar's school, he's going to hate me for this. You know, he was there. I came in. I talked to his wife. I talked to him. He shakes my hand and he walks away. Doesn't even talk to me. I was like, that little guy, man. What the
Did
heck?
you come in there snapping your black belt?
No, I didn't even tell him he was a black. I only told him I was a black belt. He was a little, you know, I shook up his hand and he just walked away.
Yeah.
I like, man, what's the guy, man? He's so not friendly. His wife was more friendly. And then I went once, twice. It took me, I visited his school 4 times for me to train. The first time, he was a little bit rough in the edges, but the second, third, and 4th time, you know, then we became friends, you know what I mean?
So, how long have you been training with Omar for?
Oh,
For
man.
4 years?
No, man. Since I moved,
76,
yeah,
right?
going to be
Because
6.
You got 2 stripes from him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that makes
well,
sense.
actually-
Not 6.
Yeah.
You got a little early.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like 5.
Yeah. It's going to be 5 years now with Omar. Yeah.
So you trained with him basically when you first opened the school that we're at now.
Yeah.
And then, so what I heard from everybody is that he was really rough back then. So I even heard that when the original school that he came to, he came for like a visit and he beat the fuck out of everybody.
Boy.
When he went back to Brazil.
Oh, really?
Then he came back like 6 months later and started like running the school. But he came and made it a point to beat everyone's ass.
So,
You know, because I mean, it was all big dudes. I've met a couple of the guys that originally had that school there, and they're all big guys. And you know, Omar's what, 5'2", 120 pounds.
Yeah. But and the first time I rolled with Omar was funny because I get good base, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So And I was like, you know,
the
his
pressure.
Well, but Omar's weight is shorter than me,
Yeah.
and then he swept me. Baloo swept me probably 10 times in
He
one
balloon
night.
swept you?
Yes,
That's ruthless.
Yes, man. That you know, those little legs, you know,
Yeah.
right on you. Boom! I was like, what the heck's happening, man? I was supposed to
For
see.
anyone watching or listening out of context, Omar's what, like 5'5", 5'4"?
I just said he's 5'2", 120 pounds. Leave it at that.
It's some.
Well, he's a little heavy now. I think he's on 40.
He's a little thicker now, but
He's also like 5'7".
yeah. He's a little shorter than me.
No, Omar's
I'm
5'5" the
5'7".
most.
He's shorter than me.
5'5". Yeah, probably
he
5'5".
must be 5'5".
But it's
yeah.
5'5", like
To give you some
142,
context,
think
he
competes at right now.
competed at
142 light feather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was throwing you
But
around.
when he won,
Like nothing.
Yeah.
like those of weightless.
Yeah.
Boom. I was
Yeah.
like, boom.
I mean, he does it to me too.
Yeah, man. I was like, how do you do that? But you know, he's just so
Technical.
flexible and technical. Like these
Yeah.
little legs, when they get under you, man, you can't help but just see.
Yeah.
You
go
see,
for a
yeah.
trip.
You go for a trip.
It's
Yeah.
it's amazing like his technique that he has to get under you
Yeah.
to make you
To
weightless.
scoop you up. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I can't figure it out. You ever mess with the balloon sweep?
Yeah. Well, just the
Well,
traditional.
like a couple weeks ago, he was going over that.
Yeah, well, he was
really
showing
hard
he was
detail.
showing how to get
But I
it
was
from
still
butterfly
struggling,
guard,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
the way he gets, you got to go deeper. You know what I
Pulls.
mean? You pull it up. You know, my back doesn't move much these days, but I can do when they're standing up. You know what I mean? The traditional one, you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
balance.
You kinda-
But he goes from deep under and pulls
That's
you
where
up
it's crazy.
and just yeah.
Because that's so difficult to do when,
Yeah.
when they're base, when
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
a good base.
Yeah.
And then he still get it on you.
Yeah.
I want to go back to this just to make it a point. We don't have a ton of followers or whatever,
Yeah.
but to make a point to point out that he is in the Rickson Gracie lineage. It doesn't get better than
That's
that.
pretty dope.
That is like in jiu-jitsu, that is the upper echelon.
Yeah.
If Rickson is in your line, it's as good as it gets. You might just say you're a black belt in Hemet, but
I'm
you're a
just
lot
a
more
black
than
belt.
that.
I'm a black belt.
Yeah.
Just a black belt.
Yeah.
But now come back in lineage and stuff like that. It's funny because Palhares, he teaches a lot of the self-defense. You know what I mean? A lot of, you know, like the knife thing,
Yeah,
the gun
yeah.
thing, the baseball.
Yeah.
The guy comes out with the chair and stuff like that. You know, it's all that closing the distance, you know, closing the gap, you know, go down, go low, you know what I mean? And part of it, you know, my black belt test was 3 hours long. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny
I
because...
might die if that happened to me.
Well, it's 3 hours, but it's not intense 3 hours. You know what I mean? There's a lot of talking.
Trying to understand your
Yeah,
knowledge.
yes. So, but he does what he does every belt. I mean, I don't think he's doing that anymore. I hope he does, but he gives a list of the things that you have to know at a minimum for certain belt and certain stripes.
So
you know?
kinda study.
Yes, and I see him flunking people too because I used to assist him, and he's very strict to that. So for my black belt, gave me like 3 or 4 pages, you know, a lot of things for for me to know up to
Did
a
you
minimum.
know it all?
Well, yeah, I was saying I passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, did you have to like work on it before you decide? Because you can tell him when you're ready to take a test.
Yeah,
right?
but see, that's the things that he asks. You can expect him to ask, but
Yeah.
he has way more than that too.
Yeah.
It's just that doesn't leave it at that. It's way more than bloody 2
You're prepared, huh?
Yeah. So when you were teaching, did you have that same kind of curriculum where like, you know, you started with a bunch of no stripe white belts?
Yeah,
right?
I did it for first, you know, because I used to copy his curriculum and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and I used to give it to them for them to study and I promote them. But I was like, you know, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it takes
And
a
you
lot.
got a job.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, I'm just going to promote them on time. I want to ask them to do something, you know, and my promotions are basically all by surprise, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when they're ready, I gave them stripes.
And those
and
are
all
cool.
that.
I like. There's
Yeah.
a lot of videos of
Yeah.
like seeing people
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
I think those are cool because you're not expecting. it.
Yeah. But at first I gave them the papers to study, but then I was like, yeah, you know, too much work.
Yeah.
So that's just the element of surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
Ah.
What is the highest belt you promoted somebody to?
Purple.
Purple.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you give a black belt to somebody is a lot of responsibility, man.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Takes a lot of commitment, you know, to get a black belt, and then it's kind of it's funny because, you know, if you train somebody from white to black, when they get black belt, you basically raising a child, right?
Yeah.
So when they get to black belt, they walk away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have seen.
So
Yeah.
and then I was like, you know, man, if you know that breaks my heart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm raising you from white to black, and then when we get to black,
You kinda go
you
out on your own.
go
You
on
go
your
on
own,
your-
and open up your own
leave the
school and
nest,
stuff
yeah.
like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
So you said when you were training with your original professor, it was a lot of like the old rice and bean shit. It was all the combatives,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then on
it's
the
more than the combatives. You know, I've seen parts of the Gracie combatives you're talking about.
I don't want to get into it, but yeah, yes, that is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's for another day when I feel like shitting on someone.
It's more than that. So. Yeah, but he's a lot of a self-defense thing, a lot of basically rising bees.
What's the same? It's like when Coiler or them
They teach the
and they
striking,
do the
real
seminar.
basics,
Yeah.
real
Their
basic striking
seminar.
stuff.
I think was it Hoyler or
Hoyler came on. Yeah, it's always
Both of them, Hoyle and Hoist, they both came on.
both of them did it in a seminar. One of them did one that was almost purely self-defense. It was being choked and everything like that. And then
that was Hoist. I wasn't here for that
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah, but I've been to all the Hoyler ones.
Hoist was doing it was pretty much all self-defense, like your straight kicks.
I
going
think
for
he
the
focuses
takedown.
on that more. I think he's more in that realm right now of doing that
Than
stuff.
competition.
But where I was going with that in like the old school techniques or just like traditional jiu-jitsu, the reason I bring it up is last week this motherfucker over here said that pressure is not a technique.
I
didn't say that.
You said that. Go back, read that, rewind that
I didn't say
shit.
it's a
He said pressure was not a technique.
I said,
tell him.
man.
I need confirmation.
I think what
from a black belt.
Here's what I told him. Listen,
pressure is a technique.
This is what happened. Let me explain, and then we'll get your input.
See that
This
setup?
is exactly what
That's how
freaking
you set it
happened.
That's how you set up the game. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is what happened. I said he's talking about cutting weight. And he's like, I'm gonna get down to 220.
Okay.
And then or whatever. What'd you say? 220?
I'll clarify on that. I think my long-term goal would be like around 205.
Okay.
But for January, if anyone wants to take that bet, 225.
Okay. So what I told him is like, your game now is based on being heavy as fuck.
He's trying to say.
So when
my
he
game
comes
is being
down
fat.
and he stops being so fucking fat, he's going to be like a white belt because his game isn't going to fucking work.
No, and then
I know this from experience.
Then I said pressure is a technique, and you said no, it's not.
He
and
has
you
pressure.
Your dumbass head like this.
No. He has pressure. You have fat. There's two different things. You're just heavy as fuck.
When we both roll, either me or him with you, you're like this the whole time.
You're heavy as fuck.
Pressure.
Because you're heavy as fuck. That's the difference.
Yeah.
He's not heavy. He's lighter than me.
How many times
and
on here have you said I bring the weight of the earth?
That's exactly
That's what
right.
I'm talking
But
about,
that's
dog.
going to
What's
go
up?
away. But that's not because you
but
know
do
the
something, do
technique.
something.
That's not because you know the technique to bring the earth. You just are the fucking earth.
So
and
what,
you bring it.
what are you trying to say?
Is you're fat.
My black belt professor here didn't teach me the pressure?
Oh,
he
man.
surely fucking did.
I think his pressure. He's
been training
Do I have
for
pressure?
20
Really?
years
Yeah,
longer
okay.
than me.
His pressure is by far the worst I've ever.
Yeah, he
Really?
broke my rib like 3 days
did?
ago.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's the worst I've ever felt. It's like you're stuck under a rock. I can't explain it just sucks.
To elaborate on that more. It's not bad sometimes. And then he decides he was going to give you the fucking
gas.
sauce
Oh,
that
man.
shot.
Oh.
And then he starts moving and doing pressure. So movement and
From
pressure.
everywhere. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I've been under you many times where I'm like, I should just tap.
His favorite place.
But I can't bring shame to my fucking patches to
not
tap
to
the
tap.
pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
You can tap from pressure, man.
Never.
You can
one
you can tap from pressure.
One
I
time,
mean, I tapped some white belts to pressure yesterday. What's up, dog?
one time, I remember you were doing something, and I was like, how are you so heavy? And then you pulled me aside, and you kind of went over, like, pressure techniques with me. And then you said, and then if they tap to pressure, you laugh at them.
Yes.
And I'm like, hell yeah.
I smothered tap the white belt yesterday.
It's how you're gonna position your chest on his chest.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'll never forget when you showed me, because I asked you the same question at one time. And you said, okay, you brought, I can't remember who it was, some poor soul you brought over to fucking lay down. And you're like, count to 10 for me.
Oh, that was me.
is it?
Yeah, 'cause I was counting. He was like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
I usually ask them to sing Happy Birthday.
Oh, jeez. You make him do that for the whole song?
Oh, they can't.
They can't. That and wrist locks. You wrist locks from everywhere.
See, but wrist
Absolutely
locks,
amazing.
it's funny because we were talking about it the other day. Wrist locks. I only started doing wrist locks probably like 2-3 years ago, and because of my wife, she kind of showed, she showed me a few and all that, and I was like, oh man, you can see.
You constantly catching me on wrist locks makes me, one, learn to defend myself from wrist locks, but two, I start seeing them now when I'm rolling with other people.
For me, it's not even trying to defend the wrist lock. It's trying not to put your hands in compromised positions.
Put them in a position where they can be.
Which is good because, I mean, like, if you put your hand there just when you're standing up, you're going to get fucked up anyway.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have your hand there for any reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And if you have a specific weight, they're not going to get wrist lock.
I mean, I may have brought shame to our family last night, but I was rolling with a white belt.
He was like you.
No, he looked up at the clock, and there was like 15 seconds left, and he was like, I made it. And he went like this, and his arm was on the ground, and I wrist locked him.
Oh, man.
Gotcha, bitch. I was like, you didn't make that shit, did you?
He was like white belts, bro.
He's 4 stripes. Close enough.
Close enough.
He's close enough.
Close enough.
He's strong, too.
Back in the day, man, there was white belts are wrist locking everybody, man.
Yeah, I asked Omar last night at your house, and he was like, white belt, we toe hold, wrist lock, everything. We slam. He was talking about slamming people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Naga, man, they used to body slam.
Yeah.
To people on the, how they break the guard, body slam on the floor.
Are you pretty familiar with the IBJJF rules?
Somehow.
Could I suplex somebody?
I don't think you can. No, I don't think you can. No,
suplex
no.
anybody?
No.
The other thing I wanted to bring up is I thoroughly enjoy every time you teach a class.
Really?
Yeah, I love when you teach.
You always.
Oh, thank you.
You always teach something like fundamental. Like it's never.
Yeah.
There's not 15 steps to it. It's like 3 steps, and it's always super effective. It's always something like super like. It's always something that I end up using or
Sure.
integrating into my game, no matter what it is.
It's
And it blows my mind when sometimes a lot of the times because it's like it's so simple. Some of the stuff you're showing is so simple, and I'm just like
Rice and beans, bro.
But the thing I really like about it is the last time I can remember you teaching when I was there, you showed something that we've been shown a million times before. It's a technique we've been showed a bunch of times. And the way you broke it down made it click a little bit better.
Oh, really?
For me.
Cool.
And if I had one critique of the way you teach, I don't know how it was at your old schools, but our school, because it's not your school. You're not very loud. You don't project very much. You need to let everyone know you're the baddest motherfucker in that room at that time, and don't be nice to everyone. Let
Really?
them fucking know.
All right. Thank you.
Because every technique you've showed me, like you've pulled me off the mats and said, "Hey, try this." And then one thing I really liked about, you pulled me off the mats and said, "Try this," and it's changed my game. Every time you bring something up, the new light bulb goes off and says, "Try it this way, try it this way." And then like, I've been getting wrist locks since like day one. I talk about it all the time. But when you started showing me the wrist lock techniques, it makes my top game so much more dangerous.
Cool.
Because people can't frame on me. If they frame on me, they get wrist locked. Yeah. And that has changed my game so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Where's the t-shirt? I got TUI now.
No, but really, I do. I think I really enjoy when you teach classes.
Cool.
It's always a good surprise.
See,
when you
I teach the way Luis used to teach class. You know what I mean? Just kept it simple and to the basic. He used to say, Leo, you're gonna train jiu-jitsu, that you're gonna fight outside. You know what I mean? If you're gonna get into street fight, the way you train here, that's how you're gonna fight out there. You know what I mean? And that goes a lot of the old school jiu-jitsu kind of thing. You know what I mean? Back old school, they don't do none against it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Burimbolo, all kind of crazy guards that they do nowadays. You just basic close guard, and
competition.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tournament competition versus actual street.
It was like, try jiu-jitsu that you're gonna fight outside. You know what I mean? So that's how you have to do it. You know what I mean?
You're not gonna berimbolo.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna berimbolo. Nothing wrong with that. Again, it's beautiful.
In a competition.
It's beautiful to see, and it's nice that with jiu-jitsu evolving nowadays, a lot of new types of guard. New types of acrobatics. People doing all.
Nice.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Like Miscellaneous, the way he fights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's beautiful seeing that for people that don't know anything
like
about jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So you get 2 people off in the street, seeing 2 people fighting jiu-jitsu, old school. That's so boring. You know what I mean? What are they doing? Just grinding each other there?
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on. Yeah. But when you see like 2 athletic guys moving, going back and forth, and their legs this way, legs that way, boom, that looks nice.
I talking about the way the game changed. I was watching this little. I think it was like a mini documentary that Flo released on Keenan. And
I haven't seen that
it
one.
was about the lasso guard.
Oh, okay.
Or not worm guard.
Worm.
And so
which he came up with. He made it into a system.
He made it into a system. Yeah. Someone was like playing around with it. And they talked about it in this little documentary.
If you look at the old school, the old school Brazilians were fucking with the gi.
Yeah. So they were showing though. What was interesting, what I found interesting, is that, and it goes back to rice and beans. So he started developing this worm guard, right? And then he started competing with it, and he started winning.
Yeah.
Like
they changed the rules.
He went to Leon. He competed against Leandro Lowe, and he beat Leandro Lowe.
He did.
Yeah. And then
he
I
would
don't know
have
if
to
it
be
was black
because
or brown.
Angelo's been a black belt for a long time.
And it was in black. But he competed against Leandro Lowe, and the worm guard beat him. Second time, Leandro Lowe, guess what? He knew how to. But it made Leandro Lowe change his game to learn lasso or learn that worm guard. And then he was like, this documentary he goes on. He's like, all right, new techniques. So he starts learning different techniques. Worm guard from De La Hiva, worm guard from reverse De La Hiva. Like he starts like changing it and adding all these freaking things. So every time he shows up at the competition, he always has something new.
Yeah.
But what I got out of that, it was awesome to see. But what I got out of that is yeah, that's cool, but people started learning it, and they learned how to shut it down, and then it went back to rice and beans.
I got two things to say.
Well, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, you know, Roger Gracie, right? I love the way he fights, man. It's basic
White
to the
belt
point.
shit.
It works.
Well, he told us.
It works.
He told us that he didn't master
guys
the
went
cross
I
collar
did-
choke,
you did
cross
the
collar
seminar.
until he was a black belt.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He said he didn't master it until he was a black
And
belt.
that's the most basic move in jiu-jitsu, you know.
But that's what he's like really known for.
Yeah.
Is it's like if it's
Cross
done,
collar,
you're over. If
If he
can't
mounts
do
you,
it.
you're gonna get
Yeah,
cross
you're gonna get cross collar.
There's so much, there's a lot of basic stuff. You can never master the basics,
Yeah.
man. So, you know, and it kind of saddens me because a lot of people, they start doing these crazy things, those crazy flips and burning bottles and you know, whatever this, whatever that, but they don't do they don't stick with they don't
can't
know the
forget the
basics.
basics.
Yes. They tell them to do a basic armbar from the guard.
Well,
They get lost.
Right there, let's talk about what are the most 5 or 10 basic things everybody should know.
Sure. You know, first of all, hold guard, you know what I mean? That's important. And passing the guard. Then, you know, the cross collar, you know what I mean? Arm bars from the guard, close the guard.
But what about not specific like submissions?
Oh, submissions?
Techniques for jiu-jitsu. Because you've brought this up to me a bunch of times, and like I did not know the significance of a 2-2 until you told it to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So what should you learn as a new white belt jiu-jitsu practitioner? What should
like
you
that.
learn that first week, or what should
Gotcha.
you master
Yes,
that
yes.
first strike?
What you focus on?
All right, posture is important. Posture. You know, hipscapes. You know this. I've seen purple belts that don't know how to do hipscape properly. You know what I mean?
When should you use a hip escape?
Dude, anytime you're on the bottom, brother.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna do a hipscape. You know, even when you're doing an arm bar from the guard, you're moving your hips.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, hips. You know, that's why Brazilians are good in jiu-jitsu because we can dance. We have hips, brother. So, right? So, you know, you got a hipscape. That's very important. You know what I mean? And then, what else? Oh, breaking fall. It's important, man. You know.
Let's break that down right now. So there's
Safety.
there's a couple
Yeah.
guys that are school that are upper belts. I watch break fall, and I'm like, you're gonna break your fucking shoulder because I watch them how they do
Yeah.
it. So I watched the whole. I saw this one person do it wrong so many times. I was like, I must be doing it wrong. So I
Made you
went.
doubt
Yeah.
yourself.
So I went and looked it up, and Jeff Glover has. You know who he is?
Yes.
Jeff Glover has a
That's the
whole,
guy that does a donkey guard, right?
Yeah, exactly. He has a whole instructional on just break falling.
Yeah.
So when you're break falling, let's say you're doing the sit version, you're sitting to your butt, right? So you sit to your butt, you roll to your back, and then your hands hit
Yes,
the mat.
you take the fall of the mat, yeah.
So at the end of your roll, your hands hit the mat to stop or
Like a chin too.
Yeah,
To absorb
tuck
the
your chin,
energy.
absorb.
Yeah.
So and then when you're doing like the judo one to the side, when you go this way, does your hand hit first, or does your body hit first, or
You get it's everything in motion. Of course,
Yeah.
you're gonna hit your bottom.
Yeah.
But hands go out too.
it ends with the hands,
Yes,
though, right? The
yeah.
hand stops the momentum.
I mean, I feel it traveling. You know,
Yeah.
it travels right to the
Yeah.
hand. You know what I mean?
Please stop putting your fucking hand down.
No, you break your elbow.
Jesus,
Like
one
basic,
dude.
Yeah.
But
Break
and
your
you know
shit.
another funny thing about break falling, did you ever notice the higher your belt gets, the louder your slap on the mat?
Yeah, man.
White belts are like, and then black belts are all.
It's sound effects.
Yeah.
Sound effects. Yeah. Sound
All right,
effects.
so after a break fall, what would you go to?
Uh,
So you talk about hip escape,
Yes.
the break fall. What was one more you said?
let's go from standing too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Posture.
Posture. You know, like you see somebody's guard. Posture. Man, Luis, when he teaches a class, if you don't have posture, if you keep it blowing down, slip down, right? He's like, get up. You know what are you doing? 10 push-ups. You know what I mean?
What's the black belt from France that came?
That's all. I didn't meet him.
He-
The black dude or
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He was cool.
France, all the techniques he was showing, the key thing that he was showing is exactly what you
Posture?
said, was posture.
Yeah.
It all starts with posture. Everything
Yeah.
he talked about was posture.
I see. Once you kind of not master, but you get a notion,
Muscle
idea.
memory.
Yeah, you get an idea of what it is. I think your journey in jiu-jitsu becomes easier too. You know what I mean?
Well, I have a good white belt question about posture. So like in jiu-jitsu, when you stand straight up, you're gonna get fucking thrown or double leg or single leg.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're standing up, grip fighting or whatever, hand fighting, you posture up, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
So when you're standing up, where should your head position be? Where should your back position? Should your butt be out? What
What I like to do, I bend. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I usually because I shoot on my right, so I take a step right. I go here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I bend a little bit. I don't stay straight like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because stay like that, you know, leg sweeps and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. So a little bit up, but away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just this way a little bit, kind of. kind of drop your head a little bit. Don't look straight at your opponent. Kind of go right
look
here.
at the chest. So that's where I look. I usually look chest, feet, kind of see if so they don't sweep me. I was thinking about this earlier today when I was driving around. So I was listening to that Henry Gracie podcast, and he was going really into like the basics of jiu-jitsu and like the old school Gracie shit, where it's like more of like self-defense based, right? So do you think they started to develop that posture because one, it's a better way to be standing up, but two, to keep your chin tucked so you don't get knocked out?
Oh.
Could be. Yeah.
And then it's funny, Jocko on that podcast said, strikes are unreliable.
Yeah, because you could get knocked out, but you could not get knocked out.
Or you could hit them the first time and they don't get knocked out. But if you get their back and you're sinking that choke in, you're finished.
Well, that's Jocko. His kids. I don't know if maybe we mentioned before, but his kid was asking him if superpowers are real. He's like, are superpowers real? And Jocko said he thought about it and he goes, yeah, jiu-jitsu is a superpower.
Yeah.
Because if you get a hold of someone that doesn't know anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is amazing. I mean, it changed people's lives, man. It does.
Think so. I used to be fat. I mean, I'm still fat, but I was like fat.
But even about being fat, I mean, it's changed your whole outlook on life. It gave you the reason to try to lose weight. It gave you the reason to work out. It gave you the reason to get on steroids.
Yeah.
But
we'll bleep that out.
So the basic shit. So do you think there's ever a point in time where you need to berimbolo, where you need to fucking fly an armbar?
Hey, just don't talk about berimbolo to me, because I don't know how to do berimbolo, brother.
I've had people teach it, and it's like, I've seen people teach it, and I'm like, that's cool going to K-guard and fucking berimboloing somebody, but what if the person on top of you is fat and just smashes the fuck out of you?
I think that's where it's very specific to weight classes.
Yeah.
Like, there's just going to be certain shit.
Jiu-jitsu,
Sports-based, 100%. You're never going to see someone berimbolo on the street.
No.
So you feel like your game was not going towards a sport base, it was going towards
self-defense.
Most likely, because the old school jiu-jitsu, Well, but that works for the sport as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
the rice and beans.
The rice and beans works for this. I've been in street fight, but it works for the street and it works for the competition as well. You know what I mean?
When I bring that up, I was pointing somewhere in my mind, and the reason
nothing wrong with people that do new school jiu-jitsu. I love it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna talk some shit on some new school jiu-jitsu.
No.
So like, when Hickson was on Rogan, Rogan's under Machado, but then also he's got a black belt from
the
Eddie
10
Bravo.
Planet,
And the 10 Planet, even before Danaher, was like the first people really fucking with the leg lock game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he beat our fucking our master with the leg locks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh no, it was a triangle.
The first one, the second one, he fucking
vaporizer.
Oh really?
He blew.
He didn't tap to it, but he got him. He calls it the vaporizer.
He talks about he blew his shit out. But anyway, so on that podcast, Rogan brings up, so what do you think about modern leg locks? And he's like, why don't the Brazilians train it? And he was like, who said the Brazilians don't train leg locks?
Oh, we do?
And he was like, well, I don't see it. And he's like, we train them. He's like, it's just not effective. And Rogan starts pushing back, and he was like, I know how to heel hook people. I know how to do this. But I also know the basics so much better than you. When I defend your heel hook, I'm going to get up and beat your ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was I was doing jiu-jitsu at that time already. That's when I was like super obsessed at white belt. And because I remember one of our old professors at the school would always be like, oh, let me show you how to hit the ankle strike. Let me show you how to heel hook people. At white belt, he showed me how to heel hook people.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, if I lose that heel hook and he comes up on top of me, he's gonna smash the fuck out of me. For me,
I don't
no
go
benefit
I don't
in doing
go
that.
for ankle locks a lot because
I fuck around and hit him sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like exactly what you just said. Like if I lose it, they're just gonna come right up on top of me, and I'm like, damn it, I was messed up.
So what do you think? Like, do you ever mess with? I've never seen you pull a leg lock on anybody.
Oh, I used to leg lock and heel hooks left and right. Yeah.
So
the gi. Yeah, well, in the training, you know what I mean. So
there should be no delineation between the gi and no gi.
Well, I think the reason why there's a delineation between gi and no gi and heel hooks is because of the grip and the friction. With no gi, if you grab a heel hook, it's still kind of wet, slippery, whatever. You can yank it, but it's not as dangerous. But I think in a gi, because your grip is like, it's solid, like it's not moving, that it's a little more dangerous. That's the only reason I think they made that.
But see, back in the day, they used to teach, heel hooks to white belts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything. Of course, you're not going to use those moves in tournament. You know what I mean? Because
the rules.
But you just learn it.
But you learn it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't teach leg locks, heel hooks on your white belt, and they're going to teach you on your purple belt. But what happens to, when you're white belt to blue belt, you should be learning them.
You should learn it.
You know what I mean?
Defensive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you wrist lock white belt. So when they're fucking ready at blue belt, they know what the fuck.
See, this is your fault.
This is your fault.
I just want you to know. Make sure it's clear.
This trucks are fun to do, man.
They are fun to do.
Wrist locks are like a superpower within jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because someone could be whooping your ass and you're on the bottom
And
and
you catch
you
it.
trap
Boom.
their elbow
Yeah.
and blast the shit out of them and get up
Game
fucking
over.
all victorious.
Yeah. Doesn't matter anything that happened before.
Doesn't
You
matter if I
tapped.
was down 100
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's right.
tapped.
It's that, but that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
Checkmate. I won.
exactly.
Yeah, checkmate,
Exactly,
son.
yeah.
I won.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it is. But yeah, speaking about old, BJJ, there are a lot of things that I don't see nowadays. It's I see on Mark's place a lot, but in other academies, the whole tradition, it's bao wen, bao hao, you know what I mean?
It's changing.
Yeah, it is changing. Yeah. Another thing too, like when you tie your belt, don't tie your
Turn
belt,
away.
like
Turn away.
Yeah, it's
I've been trying to work on that, not tying my belt facing the front.
yeah.
I've been trying to, and even during the middle of the rolls, I'll try to turn my belt facing out of the mat and stuff like that.
Away from. Yeah.
I've been trying to get better at that because I heard someone talk about it. It's like you should be ready to present yourself in front of the professor.
Another thing too, that Luis used to hate it. You go train, chewing gum.
There's a lot of
I'm
people
bad
that
with
do
that
that.
right
I
now.
don't
Man,
do
oh, you do that? I
won't
want to
do-
make you spit up if I see it.
I won't do it when I'm rolling.
Oh, really?
But usually during the technique, I'll chew gum. It helps me like stay a little bit more hydrated because I don't drink water when we practice, and I try not to sit down.
Okay.
I always stand up, and it seems like it just gets me like a little bit more like mouth hydration at least while I'm getting ready to roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've yelled at people for it, and I try not to do it.
I
It's
feel
a
like
bad
I would
habit.
choke.
Oh,
That's why I don't do it when I'm rolling. I will not do it rolling. I always spit my gum out the first roll.
I used to roll with the guy in Florida. He used to chew tobacco and roll at the same time.
Hell yeah. That's
He's
some
all-
real redneck shit.
Yeah, man.
Imagine being like stuck
Some
in a
of the boys in our,
submission.
some of the boys in our school will be hitting those zins
Yeah.
when they're rolling.
Oh man,
Imagine
that's
being stuck in a submission and they'd be like, "Yo, give me that bottle." And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
like,
do it, and
while
then
you're
you-
rolling, how much of a bitch would you feel like?
Oh man.
If that's how bad you are,
Oh, this guy-
they literally like.
This
I'm
this
like-
guy's a black belt now, and he's
Really?
pretty
Still-
good.
does he
Yeah.
still do it?
Well, I don't think he does anymore, but he was doing it. And he was like, purple bell, and it was like chewing. He had the little pack, right?
Yeah,
Put
yeah.
over there.
Swallowing
Yeah,
it.
come
Oh,
back.
spitting?
Yeah, he spit out.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Well, but he rolls
Yeah.
for the rope.
And then spit it out.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Don't
though,
talk.
It smells. though.
Yeah. Well, it smells pretty good. Cherry. He had a good smell.
Oh, like a
Yeah.
flavor.
Yeah.
I'm 100% positive I rolled a SWAT Dave and he was dipping.
Really?
Really?
100%.
Oh, you roll?
Whooping my ass, fucking dipping.
I feel like that's cheating, man. You get that little,
Ah.
you know, little.
I
man.
swore I saw some of the boys at the school rolling with zins in.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I tried that once, man. I got
The
so
Zins?
sick, man.
Oh, yeah. So
Oh, I threw up and I passed out,
When
man.
we
I
went
was
fishing,
like,
they were all fucking.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, they were
Zin
trying.
all
no way,
That-
man.
we came
Little
back,
upper
everybody's
decky?
on it. Yeah,
I
didn't fuck with it.
I think I may have said this on here before, but I was on a long drive. I was driving from Chicago to Austin, and I was kind of getting tired because I dropped my boy off at the airport at 3 in the morning. So I left Chicago at 3 in the morning straight to Austin. And I remember hearing people on podcasts talking about how nicotine will wake you up. So like, I'll try a little Zimbabwe. I got a 6 milligram, which I didn't know what the difference was, which is like the highest milligram they have. And I'm putting it in there, I'm driving, and it started burning my throat. And I was like, and I spit it out. And I open my window, and I go to spit it out my window. And by the time I turned back around, I was like, oh, I am fucked
Oh, you're
up.
dizzy. You
Oh.
get the
It felt like I had like
light
15
and-
beers.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
I got sick. I got dizzy. I threw up and
Yeah.
passed out.
When'd
It
you
was
try
horrible.
one? When'd you try
Oh,
one?
I was in Florida with this guy.
let's get y'all Zimbabwe'd out right now.
No way, man. No way.
Get y'all
Well,
over
even
there.
before I started
Be a
jiu-jitsu,
lot cooler
I was
if you did.
I
No.
vape. I don't ever smoke cigarettes ever. I've never smoked cigarettes. I've had cigars, but I used to vape, but I didn't like the zero. I would
Zero.
fucking get the nicotine ones, and so I'd be like, whoa! I'd be like, yeah.
That gives you a head rush.
You're like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
smoke, but let me start hitting this robot
Is
dick.
it- yeah, it's pretty much exactly.
You
what
wanted to
happened.
fucking blow clouds and look cool on fucking the ground?
Pretty
or
much.
what?
I was like, oh, this
Were
is
you
cool.
talking about
well,
your
you
odds
know,
and shit?
You get those at the
well,
Chinese
like-
people
No,
test
he,
it
no,
first?
he had the big one.
Yeah,
Oh.
I like hookahs.
Okay,
I've always liked hookahs.
Yeah.
And so it was
Damn, you
kind
like sucking?
hookah.
So it was kind of like
You know
a
how they're
hookah to
getting-
me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
we,
flavor
yeah.
and
We
the
went to
taste.
Dubai. My wife used to live in Dubai, and they do the hookah there. Yeah,
So when I was
But
younger,
that's
we
like
used to go to
religious
hookah.
over there.
yeah. I went
Don't
there,
try to-
man,
Don't
and
try to
people
let him
smoking in the
say he's
street.
not gay for hitting the hookah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. But like I was saying before, right? Jiu-jitsu changed people's life.
Yeah.
No, nowadays people are making a living jiu-jitsu in other countries too. Like if you see like a little, like about the whole Emirates and all that, how they have the jiu-jitsu program in the schools.
Yeah.
You have to study jiu-jitsu. It's study. It's not PE. It's a subject from first grade to
Oh,
high
really?
school. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they hire Brazilians to teach over there. My wife was a supervisor there. Yeah, and
I think that
they
would
pay
It's a
be-
precursor.
Yeah, I was
going
gonna say I think that's a great
Yeah.
reason why she should be sitting here next time having this conversation. So
All
we
right.
can talk about.
Yeah,
I thought-
we can talk to
but
her.
I remember she told me about that. And that was like
Yeah.
super interesting
Yeah.
Well,
to
check-
hear. Like
check
I
this
didn't even
out.
know anything
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
On that subject right there, I don't know. I mean, everybody that's listening to this knows what ADCC is. That was put on by the king of Saudi Arabia.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And then now he handed it out to that dude. What's his name? What's the guy that runs it now?
I don't know. He's like
Mo.
Mo.
Mo Jassim runs it now, and that dude, he's a sheikh.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know that?
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's a sheikh in
Super
Saudi
rich.
Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
He
Saudi.
pays for that shit out of his pocket.
Yeah.
They do it to try to advance the sport because they believe
They
it's
like it,
important.
yeah.
Love it.
I mean, they've been doing some wild shit over there too.
Oh, this it started in the Emirates first, and now it's in Saudi Arabia.
So because the guy that runs ADC or that owns ADCC
Uh-huh.
is the sheikh of Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
He's the king of Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
But Mo runs it now.
Okay.
Mo's a promoter.
Yeah.
They let him do it. But that's crazy that they think it's so important that they go over there, and they send black belts over there and they pay them
Oh, yeah.
good.
A lot.
I-
I had seen a post about I don't know if you know what Reddit is.
Yeah.
What do you be doing on Reddit?
No,
Hey,
I've heard about it.
Good save. There was a post on Reddit about, it was just like some random guy was like, hey, I'm traveling, and he's in Saudi Arabia. He's like, I'm willing to pay a black belt to train me privately every day. And then like it was like, I think he said it was like $100,000 or something a
Wow,
year.
really?
And then he's like, I only need you to train me a couple hours a day. Outside of that, if you want to go help do private lessons, if you want to do this, you can do that. I don't care. I just want you to train me, my friends, privately, whatever time. And a lot of people thought it was fake. And then there was a follow-up.
Yeah.
And nope, it was real. Someone took him up on
Yeah,
their offer,
well,
and they went
yeah,
over there,
yeah.
and they were his private black belt. He teaches just him and like his friends, but not only does he pay him a lot of money, pay for like housing, obviously gives him a place to live, all that
Yeah.
stuff, but he allows him to go and do seminars. He allows him to go
Yeah,
do others.
yeah.
So not only are you making your money there, you're able to go.
That's what a lot of people do in Abu Dhabi now. They go in, the government pays them, and they give them room and board too. They live in beautiful places. You know what I mean? They drive the most fancy cars. They bring the family over there. It's usually the wife or the husband or the wife, which is a black belt too. And with the family, they go there and they study in English schools and stuff like that. Yeah. A lot of people
it's
change their
really
lives. Yeah, man.
Even though it's like I'm not trying to say it's not, but $100,000 in the United States. I mean, if you open a school here, that's easy to make.
Yeah.
I was listening to that Henry podcast. A lot of it annoyed me, but he was like,
He's business savvy.
yeah, but he was like, if you don't have 300 or 400 students, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
Like you're not doing jiu-jitsu. You're not marketing anything
Yeah.
like that. But think about it: 300 or 400 students at a minimum of $100 a month.
And that's cheap.
That's $300,000
You think it's gonna be like that forever, man, or it's gonna be so much?
Until it gets
so many
saturated.
schools- Yeah.
You've been in it longer than us. So what do you?
Well, I mean,
You've seen it. Like
You've seen the
the
progression.
growth.
yeah, man. I've seen.
You've seen a dude pretend like he's a black belt,
Yeah.
all the way up to we have one of the most legit black belts in the world in Hemet.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's growing like crazy, man. I mean, when I was living in Boston at the time, in New Bedford, there was no schools over there. Now I was talking to a friend of mine. There's more than 10 schools in the little town.
Wow, in that little town.
Yeah.
So I got to go to Illinois next week.
Uh-huh.
Next week? Yeah, next week. And I was looking for a place to train. That little city has like 4 gyms there.
Really?
But this is what gets me. They're all like Krav Maga Jiu-Jitsu, karate, and Jiu-Jitsu. There's no like, there's no like
Specific school.
like an academy.
No Humaita.
Yeah.
There's no like no name.
Yeah.
So I want to go and train. I want to try it out.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious of like.
You're a
How does
bitch
that
ass
work?
want to go in there and dojo storm these fools?
I'm not done, so I'm gonna go exactly the
Hey,
same you think.
you
I'm
got a
just gonna go
legit
for it.
black belt teacher over there too, man. So
Why not too? Because I almost went to one that had like a
I'm,
blue belt running it.
I'm surprised he's still doing that because if you get like a karate guy, a jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
guy teaching a karate school guy, I think the karate he's gonna lose students, man.
I was like, when I looked it up, I'm like, man, this is weird.
Yeah,
I
man,
don't
it
see
takes
that.
guts, man. You gotta lose- yeah.
But going back to what you were saying, like, do you think that's a city where if you wanted to open up a school, just jiu-jitsu, and you go there,
Probably
you're
make
gonna
some
take
money,
all
yeah.
those
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
students.
Well, before we go back to the original subject, so there's 2 places within 10 miles of us that are like that. There's
Okay.
a place here in town, and there's a place in Beaumont where it's like this dude in Beaumont's got all these crazy signs, and it's like street jujitsu.
Oh,
and it's
really?
like this dude showing like this whack ass armbar, and I could have swore it shows like to eye poke him during it.
Oh.
It's like eye poke him during the armbar. It's like fucking like
the one here, you know,
Road Warrior MMA.
what I've heard,
call that fool. I'll go on there and
no,
whoop his
what I've
ass.
heard, I was talking to someone about this. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who it was, but they told me that
Say it
that
with
dude.
your chest, dog.
No, they told me that dude is a legit black belt. Like he is like a full legit like
Yeah, maybe
really
like
good
in fucking
jiu-jitsu
Hapkido or
black-
something.
No,
No.
in jiu-jitsu.
No way.
That's what I was
Because
told.
he brought his kid into our
I
school.
was told he's a legit
No, hold on,
black
hold on.
belt.
He brought his daughter into our school to try to observe it and had his daughter train with us.
Really?
And then he went and kind of did his own thing over there. But also, he stole the John Jacques Machado, the Carlos Machado sign and put American Jiu-Jitsu or some bullshit on it. And it's like, if you're a legit black belt or anybody, you steal someone else's fucking logo and you're putting your name on it, you're not legit.
You could be crazy.
I was teaching in Florida, before I had my gym. I was teaching in a school that, a karate school, traditional karate. The guy, I met him, I don't even know where I met him, but hey, come and teach a class, just jiu-jitsu. I was like, okay. So I was teaching one time a week for him. And then the days that I didn't teach, he was watching, the moves that I was doing, and he was doing the same moves that I was doing on the karate class at night.
Oh, really? He was teaching karate people jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, well, yeah, he was saying, but all I said is jiu-jitsu move.
So that's interesting. So like, was he was like a legit karate black belt?
Yeah, he was a
probably?
legit, yeah.
So,
I mean, when you say legit,
well, I'm going there. So how
it's 4 years.
Kempo karate, Kempo karate, yeah, I guess so.
I did
Kempo's legit.
Kempo.
So, but you're gay as fuck. So how is his proficiency in doing your moves?
Man, he
later
only
on?
saw me doing the move once he teaches a night.
Really?
Yeah.
And
he wasn't doing good because he said
he wasn't doing it.
no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think you could. It's just not something
It's so much
you don't know the
different.
intricacies.
Like I
of
can't
it.
throw a kick.
You don't know the whys to do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing I think between really good professors and other professors is the why you're doing this. That's the hard part to learn.
Yeah.
You've talked about that when you teach. You say why. But going back to even that, one of the things I liked a lot about when you teach is you taught like a random class one time. This was when I was still a white belt, I think, and we were rolling, and you stopped the class in the middle of the roll, and you're like, hey, okay, everybody, come over here. I seen this. I seen somebody doing this.
People not
and you
doing.
picked it
People
out.
not pushing it up.
Yeah, like you picked it out, and then everyone back to roll. I really like that. It's like it's a little bit kind of interrupting the class, but you change the middle of the game. It's like, okay, let's stop in this 5 after this roll. Let's stop. Let me show you guys some things I'm seeing all you guys fuck up on, and practice that, and then go back. I think that's really powerful. Because I say this a lot. I don't think I've ever said it on here, but I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
So like I don't know that I'm doing something wrong. I can only be it can only be pointed out by somebody who knows what they're doing.
Okay.
I really like that about the way you teach.
Cool. That's cool.
But so in your time training jiu-jitsu, from the time you legitimately started to your black belt, we're talking about where's it going to go. Did you ever see a dip in jiu-jitsu, or did it always get bigger and bigger?
Always getting bigger and bigger and bigger, man.
So do you think it's going to dip? Do you think there's going to hit a plateau?
it's how much more can you take? How many more schools can open up, right?
Well, think about this. Like you have two of the the biggest podcast in the world, Joe Rogan podcast, talking about jiu-jitsu once every couple months. He talks about it consistently with passion. And then you have Jocko talking about it. Jocko's podcast is pretty big. Him talking about it all the time. But then the main driver to jiu-jitsu, I think, is the UFC.
Yeah.
And the UFC is the most popping sport right now. So I think it's going to continue to get big. Maybe the UFC takes a dip and it's not popular anymore.
Not only that, they're starting to do their own jiu-jitsu tournaments.
UFC gyms?
No, UFC is starting their own.
Oh yeah,
jiu-jitsu,
they're doing the stuff online because they realize their culture.
They're like sport. Like ADC
the Fight Pass
and Fight to Pass. Yeah. So they're doing
UFC Invitational.
I think if they can do like jiu-jitsu sport like mainstream like UFC maybe. You know what I mean?
Well, they're trying.
They're
trying.
I don't think jiu-jitsu will ever be as mainstream as
UFC.
Well, the reason is
it's not as fun.
That and if you don't know it, like if you're just watching two people doing jiu-jitsu, you have no idea.
I'm just telling you. Like, get two guys go over there.
You have no idea.
They just grind each other. What they're doing.
You have no idea. Like the battle is happening unless you know it. So I think the sport is only going to get as big as there are jiu-jitsu practitioners.
Well, if a good example of that is when you watch fucking Gordon smother tap Pedro Mourinho, and it's like if you didn't, first of all, if you weren't into jiu-jitsu like we are, you wouldn't know how much of a fucking
you'd be like, dude, what a
Pedro
bitch!
is.
Just get out, just get out.
But Pedro is like top 10% savages in the world.
Yeah.
And Gordon just fucking put his titties in his face and ground him out until he decided he submitted him.
Yeah.
Because people were talking shit. He's like, fine, you don't think I can submit him? Here's a submission.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't. UFC is doing a really good job of promoting jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
I hope it continues to grow because my goal is to open a school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I can not have to work, where I can just teach and train.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that'd be
I'm
awesome.
years and years away from that, so I'm hoping that it
It'll
continues
happen.
to grow.
You'll happen, man. You're only 32, right?
Fuck, I'm 38.
Look at him. He looks like he's.
Oh yeah, this is 49 fighting, right?
Yeah, this motherfucker's
But you're not
40.
even 40. Are you
No,
40?
he's 40. He's the older one.
You're 40.
I look the younger, but he's
I don't know
he's
what
younger.
kind of shit you smoke that you think you say this shit all
Leave
the
it
time.
in the comments. I want to see it in the
You
comments.
say this all the time.
So
I was looking at
I'm old
pictures
enough
of
to
both
be
of
a
us.
father, man.
I mean, we can still party though.
Yeah.
No.
No.
You're not even.
I know you're
12 years
28. You're
older than
28.
me.
Yeah, you're 28. Yeah,
12 years
you're
older.
barely
Not
older
even
than
20,
me.
10 years older than me.
Yeah, well,
You're not
yeah.
49, are you?
Yeah, 49, man.
So that last thing you had, that was your 49?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was your 48.
No, man.
Yeah.
No, unless they
Fuck.
skipped it.
You know,
No.
I said you old fuck.
unless you skip.
Yeah.
I think
Old as fuck, still whooping our ass.
One of the-
Not even trying. Hold on.
Yeah, please,
He's
please.
not even trying.
No, I am
beating
trying.
our-
Dude, these hands are
Bullshit.
hurting, brother.
You're
Your
lying.
hands
Every
hurt.
time I
You're
heard
lying.
no, man. You break my grips very
You
easy.
let me
Oh, no
do
way.
shit to you.
Look, these hands hurt, man. You know what I mean? They
My
hurt.
heart hurts because
Hey,
you're
we
always
said don't look like
trying to-
Megaton's hands.
That's true.
Oh, man. You see
Maybe
how
those
my
hands
hands
are so
you see how my
messed up.
fingers
They're
feel?
starting to get that way.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not trying to say I'm some fucking, long time jiu-jitsu savage. My pinkies are fucking doing it. Look at that shit.
I get my
can
knuckles
feel
here.
it.
They all,
I can feel the difference in my pinky and that knuckle. It's getting bigger.
You guys don't get cauliflower, yeah?
I do.
You gotta start working on them.
Yeah.
All right?
Did you hear what I was saying last night? I said the worse my cauliflower
you
ear
tried
gets,
to-
the more Portuguese I hear.
You
Yeah, the more Portuguese I understand.
here. You're the one that drained my ears.
It was just a little bit,
Nothing
man.
comes out.
Yeah.
Every time I get it, nothing
Yeah,
comes
I
out.
got
And
it.
it just stays.
I look at, I
Yeah,
look
get a little
for the
bit there,
camera, I got
yeah,
it right
get a little
here.
bit
Look at
there,
that
yeah.
shit, and then I got it on the inside of this one.
Oh.
This one's fucked up.
Oh, man, that one. Oh.
And then fucking Oscar tried to drain it, but it waited like a week, and he was all digging in there with the
They
fucking.
can't wait that long, man.
I
As soon
know.
as it pops up-
No one had syringes.
Yeah.
And like he was digging in there, and like he was yanking on it. And I was like wanted to cry, but I was trying to act tough in front of Oscar. I was like,
Man, I drain a lot of people's ear right
Yeah.
man, at the gym. You, I done Trevor.
you ever done
Cut
running?
off?
Belt, that
You're-
white belt.
No, I done his brother.
That white
Oh,
belt.
Joey.
I saw you
Oh,
do
the white belt, yeah,
You
the
got
white-
a lot. You got
Yes,
a lot out of
yes.
this.
Oh fucking yeah.
I did a kid too. His mom was there. Can you do
Oh,
it?
the one with the where's the
Yeah.
wrestler.
That
I was
kid's
like,
cool. I
green
like
belt.
it. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. I was like, his mom came after me. Can you drain my son's ear? I was like, sure, if you want me to, yeah. And I was
Sign
like,
this waiver.
Yeah, please. Don't put my license on line right now.
Yeah.
I didn't. The kid took like a chip, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's tough.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
I didn't drain this upper part here. Does that hurt? Because I drained on the inside.
Oh,
It
he
was
does hurt.
fucking
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
mine
hurts
was
so
on the
bad.
upper part. This
Yeah.
one is on the upper part, but I don't think it
He was
felt
like,
good.
I don't want to have cauliflower ear.
I don't. I don't.
You know how fucking sweet.
Yeah,
this
really
is?
matter, man. I have
I
to
know.
invest in the body, man. Just see how ugly he is, man. I'm
I never
like,
realized you only have it on one side.
yeah, just this one here.
That's the way you passed too.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so, man. I guess somebody punched me here one time, or
That's all it takes.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I remember.
What's
I was working at the bank back then, and I used to pick up the phone.
Oh,
Oh man.
You know, so I'm one of those annoying people that always talk on speakerphone, but I'm usually alone. So it's, I don't want to hold the phone up to my ear. And yesterday, someone called me and it was loud, and I put my phone on my ear, and I was like, ah! Like, my ear's fucked up right now. It's like, I don't know what, it's not swollen, but it hurts like a motherfucker.
That's what's his name. Roger has that saying that he always says. He's like for anyone that has cauliflower ear, and then like if you quit early, it's like you don't want to fucking.
That's right. Now, yeah.
You don't want to have ugly ears and can't
And you
fight.
can fight. Yeah, that's right.
When I
Yeah.
got this one on the inside of my ear, we were standing in line shaking hands, and he's like, "Oh, you're getting cauliflower ear?" And I was like, "What?" And he was all, "Rah," and he fucking shoved his thumb in my ear.
Ow. Ow.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Who did that to you, Roger?
Yeah, Brown Belt Roger.
Oh man.
Fucked me up.
I was gonna say.
He has no ears, man. He has cinema
I
rolls.
felt.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
his look painful all the
his
time.
are so bad.
They look like they hurt. Just
Yeah.
like he
It's-
just
well, it made
he's
it
standing
weird.
there being all happy, and I'm like, dude, don't your ears hurt?
Yeah, just looking at it, give me zoo.
What I wanted to say before Battery does his going out
Yeah,
Oh.
shit's blinking.
is for me I feel like super honored and like lucky, and I bet when I say this you're gonna say the same, that we have the school we have in our gym, that you're in our gym, that Omar's in our gym,
Yep.
because I feel like we get to experience something that a lot of the gyms don't anymore.
Yeah.
It is we have a really close connection to the old school stuff, like
Yeah.
the old school jiu-jitsu, old school lineage. I mean, even if we look at Omar is under Hoyler, Omar,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
Like even like he was saying,
Yeah.
you don't even see that anymore. You don't see now.
You
it's
never
like,
get it from the source.
Yeah, now it's like Hoyler, some black belt, another black belt, another black belt, another black belt, another black belt.
Yeah.
Even like Andre Galval's like that. His is pretty far away from
Yeah.
Gracie.
So and then like the people we've been able to meet because of you guys.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been doing it for so long. To meet Fredson, like
Yeah.
I didn't know who Fredson was, and then you brought him in, and you know as I start seeing him, like, and then he, you know, you see him on the UFC, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it was like we were just at a party last weekend with him. He was at your birthday party, and so like the fact that we get to meet a lot of the like high level people is really freaking cool, and I think a unique thing that we get to experience at our gym.
My wife too has a pretty badass lineage.
We're gonna get her on here.
She does. She's from Osvaldo Alves. He passed away, I think 3 months ago. He already passed. He was a red belt.
Red and white, wasn't he?
No, he was red belt.
Oh, full red belt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pilates. My teachers are red and the red and white.
Yeah, above a coral.
Above a coral. Yeah. He's you know that's almost dying.
And
that's
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If it
So
dies, I got more belts,
okay. So she you know that's badass. She's from white belt, actually blue belt to black belt on a one person
cool,
man.
yeah.
That's
what
loyalty.
that's what
That's
I'm
loyalty
hoping.
right there, man.
I'm hoping, you know, when I moved to Hemet, I didn't know, but I never even knew Hemet was a place.
Yeah.
I moved here. I decided to do jiu-jitsu.
And to have Omar he and him, you guys are
So
blast, man.
and then initially my plan was to buy
To
the
have you
house.
in Hemet, Sebastian.
Yeah, just to have you here, dude.
No, talk about Omar, man. Omar.
Yeah. You
Omar.
gave me my first lesson.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, I did. Yeah.
My intro class, he did.
Yeah.
When he had the long hair, wild man.
Yeah, man.
You bring it back.
You know, I was looking.
long hair.
I'm bringing it back.
I was looking at your Instagram today, just kind of look at some of the stuff, and I saw like when you got your stripe, you had the long hair. I was like, damn, he had long hair. I was like,
You can't. Oh,
I
was thinking that last night.
my memory.
I was
was
It was long,
he
man.
had
It was
long hair. I
very long,
Wow,
yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, like Aquaman.
Like Aquaman. Jason Momoa.
I just yeah. I'm long like you look.
But yeah, no, I'm like, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that
Cool.
I get to learn from you.
Cool.
Every time I get to roll with you, I feel like I learned something. So
Yeah,
I
but
appreciate it.
our Lester was hard, man. I couldn't do anything to you, man.
Hard.
My legs
Hard
are
for me.
hurting.
Hard for me.
Dude, this guy, he just held my legs up, but I couldn't
You know
do
what? That's what he's
nothing.
learning. He's
That's all
learning
I
new ways
can
to
do.
cry
Oh,
when you roll with him.
That's exactly right.
What?
He's learning
Yeah.
new
I
ways.
call him after I roll with you and I cry.
Oh, please,
On the
man.
drive home, I cry. I call
Oh,
him.
so
I'm
he's
like,
not one of the black belts you do well against?
I never do
Oh,
well
my
against
God.
him.
Black belts.
I survive. Surviving is doing well to me.
Because they allow you to.
Surviving.
No,
Look,
I was
don't wanna
trying, man.
fucking
This
hear
guy
it.
here, he tried with you too, man. But he was, he helped me pretty good, man. I was trying for the life of me. But I got
I'm gonna
something.
start putting-
I got something out. I got something out.
I'm going to start putting bounties on your head. I'm
Do it.
going to start paying black belts to tap you.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
That's what I'm saying.
I see how it is now. I see how
I
it
think
is.
the light's blinking and it's fucking about to die.
Anyways, thank you for.
It was a pleasure, brother. Thank you.
I really
Thank you.
enjoyed it. Thank you for
Please
doing
luck
it.
you guys.
If you guys don't know, this guy's a man.
Oh, boy.
The king of rice
Is
and
there
beans.
anything you would like to pass on to someone thinking about doing jiu-jitsu?
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Stick with the basics. You know, the fancy moves they come over. You know what I mean? With time, stick with the basics. You know, basics are very important. You know what I mean? So, rice and beans all the way,
Rice and beans.
with a little bit of spice in it.
A little bit of spice. Hit him with
Yeah.
Dios.
Oh,
What's up?
we can do a thumbnail.